Hey viewers, welcome back to the channel. Another Warhammer video for you today, continuing with the Leviathan box. These are the Sternguard Veterans. So I got these guys painted up. I figured I'd take you through and show you what I did. So these are the monopose kit, right, with not all the weapon options, which was kind of unfortunate, but that's how these things go. But I was able to get a little bit of weapon options on them, and I'll show you kind of what I did. So we'll start with the just overall the guys. 5-man squad, right? So these guys were a little tricky. They just have a lot of doodads on them, you know, a lot of embellishments. So start with the color scheme. McCrag blue with Rakanoff Nightshade, right, for the main shading. Lead Belcher for the silvers, right? Abaddon black for the blacks. Reikland Flesh Shade for all the tabards, shaded with Agrex or shade, or Reikland Flesh. No, I'm sorry. What is that color called? Rakarth Flesh. That's where I was going. Yeah, that tan color on the tabards. Rakarth Flesh, and then shaded with Agrex Earth Shade, right, which is brown. So did all that, and then Corax White for the white trim, for the you know, because they're first company, so they get white trim for the veterans. One thing I chose to do here, so trying to do all the squad iconography, since the Leviathan box came with cool, like fancy decals, right, for the veteran symbol there, not just the plain white crosses, but they got embellishments on the inside and everything. I went ahead and used those, but that means I can't put the normal numerical squad designations in the middle. And so I just chose to do them in white instead of black and do them on the blue right next to them. So that works for me. That's how I chose to designate the squad, because I like actually putting the squad numbers on them. So that's how I did it. Showing you what else here. You know, the red for the helmet and the eyes is Mephiston red. Did Mornfang brown for all the pouches and leather strapping, right? And then Retributor armor for all the gold and the shell casings and everything. And then for the ones like on the knee there, he's got the Crux Terminatus, that stone. That is just Celeste Gray, shaded with the Nuln Oil. So I try to give these guys more embellishments, you know, like a lot of little extra decals. They all have the Tyranid campaign badge that I talked about in the previous video. But I think either all of them, I think all of them I gave the marksman symbol to, because I figured, hey, if these guys are Sternguard vets, they know how to shoot, which means they probably would have received that honor at some point or another. You know, and some of them get the Ultramarine symbol in the backpack, but I didn't want to do all of them just to make it all samey, right? One of these guys, is it this guy? This guy. The one that I had an extra weapon option for, I magnetized. So this is an extra bolter that I got from one of the, again, free models that you get from your local Warhammer store every month. One month, it was a Sternguard guy. So I was able to get, I actually ended up with 3 extra of those through friends and such. And so I had this extra bolt gun, which is perfect because from the out of the box, the Leviathan box, right, he came with the combi weapon here. So this combi plasma. And, well, it's a cool looking gun, right? At least as far as what is good on the tabletop. The bolters seem to be better than the combi weapons. So obviously I wanted to have a bolter if I could, so I didn't have to proxy it. I could actually have him WYSIWYG, right? So I could use an extra bolter there. And I think I actually have one more of those that I could do, you know, that I actually would probably want to paint up to support this dude, because technically this heavy bolter is optional, even though we're not paying points for gear right now. He probably should have something like that, but I didn't mess with it at the moment. I just left him as the heavy because it's free war gear, so I would never really want to swap it out yet, but I might in the future. So then that allows me to have the squad completely with bolters like you'd want, except for the sergeant. The sergeant is tricky because his is different, right? He has a combi melta, so just combi, but you know, just as a combi weapon, but it's this kind of underslung on one arm versus the 2 arms. So I'd have to find a left-hand bolter that is slung like this on a single arm to make it work, right? And then I would actually need to have find right-handed melee weapons to make that work. In reality, what I would want to do is basically pull both arms off and have paired sets where I can either run them like this with the combi weapon and then the normal melee and pistol, or I would take both those off and then have a bolter on the right side and then a melee weapon on the left, like you typically see, to have all the melee weapon options. So anyway, that's kind of what I did for them. The white on the helmets is always a challenge, trying to get the shade right. I think I used a combination of, I've tried Apothecary White, I've tried the Soulblight gray shade. I think on this I actually used Apothecary White to shade it, and then I went back with Corax White to brighten it back up. So I have struggled with white a lot, but but so far I think they turned out okay, especially for a tabletop type of thing. I'm not trying to win any paint competitions, but that's about it. So I hope you all liked the video, and at least halfway informative to you. If you have any questions about how I've done things on these models, or you want to see more details or anything like that, like, leave a comment, PM me, however you want to get a hold of me on YouTube. I'm happy to answer questions and provide more detail if you guys care. So I appreciate y'all watching. If you like what you see, please like, share, subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. And thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.